Welcome back. All right, rounding out my look at teams from around the National Hockey League, we are now at the Florida Panthers. So Florida I saved for last because A, they're the Stanley Cup champions. So I did a video most recently on them before I started this list of teams, and they're over the salary cap. I had thought maybe if I waited till the very end that maybe the Florida Panthers would have solved the salary cap issue. They have not. They are over the cap, according to Puckpedia, by $3,725,000. So there's one of two things that's going to happen here. Either a trade or trades will be made to get them under the cap, or somebody's going to LTIR. Now, considering the injuries that Matthew Tkachuk played through in the playoffs, would I be surprised if he started the season on LTIR? No. Is that going to happen? No idea. But I'm just throwing that out there. And if Tkachuk went on LTIR with his $9.5 million cap hit, that would solve the problem for the Florida Panthers. It creates a new problem in that you're short on Matthew Tkachuk, but they played without Matthew Tkachuk after Four Nations, played pretty well. So we'll see what they do. And if they do go down the route of trading a player or two players, or if they decide to put somebody on LTIR. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't be valid to put Tkachuk if Tkachuk's the one that they put on LTIR, if they put him there. But it definitely will cause a lot of discussion if that's the route that they end up following. So looking at this roster, Carter Verhaeghe has a $7 million cap hit till 2033. What's interesting is Verhaeghe was one of a few members of this team that had their struggles at points during the regular season. 81 games played, just the 20 goals. I think Verhaeghe should be expected to jump back into the 30-goal range. So 20 goals, 33 assists, 53 points. Evan Rodriguez, who I think is the most movable of players who have a cap hit that would help this team out. He has a $3 million cap hit till 2027, but Evan Rodriguez has shown throughout his career he can play anywhere, up and down the lineup, on basically almost any roster spot, and so I do think they'll be interested in Rodriguez if they decide to make a move there. Played 82 games this past season, 15 goals, 17 assists, 32 points. You've got Luostarinen on that side as well. Luostarinen had a very good Stanley Cup playoffs, and AJ Greer. Greer, pretty solid turnaround for him as a member of the Florida Panthers. Now, down the middle, you have the famous and always underrated Sasha Barkov. $10 million cap hit for Barkov till 2030. Played 67 games this past season, 20 goals, 51 assists, 71 points. Barkov is more than points. He is a great two-way forward, of course, and the expectation, I would think, this year would be that if he plays a full season, you probably get about 90 points from him. And just an excellent all-around player is Sasha Barkov. Sam Bennett, $8 million cap hit till 2033. Played 76 games this past season, 25 goals, 26 assists, 51 points. Had an amazing run in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he does that. Sam Bennett in the playoffs raises his game, and I think playoff Sam Bennett, the example that I would use, he is sort of a similar version to, say, like Justin Williams. Justin Williams was a good player who, come playoff time, you knew you were going to get the best game from. And so his regular season numbers may not wow you. Now, Bennett, I think, has more ability to score than Williams did. Not as an insult to Williams, but as credit to Bennett. But Bennett, during the regular season, you don't necessarily get the scoring that you might expect. But during the playoffs, you do. And there will always be controversy with Bennett. The game that he plays is right on that line in terms of fair play, dirty play. So, yeah. And then you got Lundell. 79 games this past season, 17 goals, 28 assists, 45 points. He has a $5 million cap hit till 2030. And when Barkov got hurt, and he ended up missing 15 games during the regular season, Lundell did not look out of place as a top forward with this team. So, Anton Lundell definitely has the ability to move up this lineup if need be and perform really well. And then you've got Nosek on that fourth line as well. Then you move over to the right side, you got Sam Reinhart, $8.63 million cap hit till 2022. 79 games this past season, 39 goals, 42 assists for 81 points. Reinhart, excellent all-around numbers. Had a great start to the season, got kind of quiet, but a lot of Florida Panthers players did. I remember going into the playoffs, looking at the numbers since Four Nations and thinking, wow, Florida's really been kind of coasting. And none of their players had great numbers after Four Nations. They were just, it seems like they were waiting to turn it on come playoff time, and they did. which can be frustrating if you're paying to go watch them during the regular season. But come playoff time, definitely makes a fan feel better, doesn't it? Then you've got Matthew Tkachuk, $9.5 million cap hit till 2030. 52 games, 22 goals, 35 assists, 57 points. So after the Stanley Cup was awarded, it was revealed that, yeah, Tkachuk had some pretty major injuries. I would not be surprised if those injuries impact him at least going into training camp. So this cap situation for Florida is going to be something to monitor going forward. And then Brad Marchand, $5.25 million cap hit now till 2031. I thought it was amazing Bill Zito kept everybody together. That was Florida's plan, and I mean, I understood Florida having that plan, but keeping everybody together, Stanley Cup champions just aren't able to do that anymore, but Florida did. So Marchand, in the regular season with Florida after the trade, 10 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. But we remember that during the playoffs, he played some of the best hockey he's played in a long time and helps them win a Stanley Cup. He was at least in the Conn Smythe conversation, so that says a lot about Marchand and kind of a return to form. I don't know that he would have done this if he'd stayed in Boston, if Boston had been a playoff team, of course. I think the move to Florida has really rejuvenated Marchand, brought back his love of the game. Gadjevich on the fourth line, I should say. It is a good fourth line for them, but there's still some depth beyond it. These lines are from Puckpedia, and they've got Boquist as depth. Samoskevich as depth. I'm kind of surprised by that one. I think Mackey's going to play. I think Mackey's going to play a bunch. I don't know who you pull out of the lineup to get Samoskevich in, and this is part of how Rodriguez coming out of the lineup via trade works, because Samoskevich, I think, is clearly ready to have a regular shift. Jesper Boquist showed how good he could be this past season as well. So there's enough depth in Florida that you could trade a couple of players out, including Rodriguez, and you've still got a pretty good roster. And then in terms of depth, they've got Foote, Studnicka. Yeah, Studnicka's still around. Entwistle, Vilmanis, Skoog, Schwint, amongst others. There's good depth in this organization. That's how they went to the Stanley Cup final, and their team went to the Calder Cup final as well. So overall championship vibes around the Florida Panthers. We'll see whether or not Charlotte can bounce back and maybe end up winning the Calder Cup this coming season. And then you look at the blue line, and you've got Gustav Forsling, $5.75 million cap hit till 2032. 80 games, 11 goals, 20 assists, 31 points, but Forsling is an excellent all-around defenseman. Ekblad, 56 games, 3 goals, 30 assists for 33 points. $6.1 million cap hit for Ekblad till 2033. Like I said, they kept the whole band together. Everybody stayed. Wasn't expected, but everybody stayed. Unless you count Nate Schmidt, but I mean Schmidt, depth defenseman, definitely somebody that they were able to replace as well. Mikkola has a $2.5 million cap hit for 1 more year. Probably going to get a raise next summer. 76 games, 6 goals, 16 assists, 22 points. Mikkola has been a seamless fit with the Florida Panthers blue line. You got Seth Jones, who has a $7 million cap hit in Florida at least. Chicago's still paying some of that, of course. 2030 is when Seth Jones would become an unrestricted free agent. Played 21 regular season games, 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points. But yeah, Jones was really good for them during the playoffs, and it will be interesting to see how during his first full season in Florida, how Seth Jones does. Kulikov and Petrie should be that third pairing. Kulikov had a good year, and Petrie looking to bounce back. Definitely a depth defenseman. And I don't know if Petrie gets in the lineup or Balinskis. I thought Balinskis had a really strong season. I'd be kind of surprised if he's not in the top 6. Bjornfot, Benning, Havorka rounding out the defense. So there is good depth both up front and on the blue line. We use that term a lot about depth. The one place where they don't seem to have the same amount of depth or concern about the depth is in net. Bobrovsky, 33-19-2 record with a .906 save percentage. He has a $10 million cap hit for this season, and then he's an unrestricted free agent next summer. I would expect Bobrovsky to stick around. Tarasov brought in, of course, 7-10-2 record for Tarasov this past season, .881 save percentage. Not a great year for Tarasov in Columbus, but Florida hasn't been shy about bringing in backups who had bad numbers elsewhere and maybe didn't perform very well elsewhere. They have some faith that they're going to be able to turn a goaltender around. And then number 3, I guess, in their organization right now would be Bussy. With Spencer Knight being traded, Vanacek's out. I think Bussy would be the number 3, but that doesn't seem to be something that they're overly concerned with. They have a lot of faith in Bobrovsky, and with the past 2 Stanley Cup runs, they're right. They're 100% right. When they need a good game, Bobrovsky gives it to them. So there's that. Now, Bill Zito may not have won General Manager of the Year, and I know that's frustrating for Florida fans, but I will say this. Would Jim Nill trade a GM of the Year award for a Stanley Cup ring? Yes. Would Bill Zito give up his Stanley Cup ring to become GM of the Year? No. So if this pattern continues, and if Florida's GM doesn't get GM of the Year, but Florida wins the Stanley Cup again, I think Zito's going to be okay with it. And then Paul Maurice as coach. I mean, back-to-back Stanley Cups for him. It is remarkable how a coach who, for years, there was discussions in Winnipeg about whether or not he was, if he was a coach that was going to be able to get them over the finish line. And when he walked away from Winnipeg, there was a lot of, he's a quitter, and let him go, and who cares? And in all honesty, Maurice has shown in Florida just how excellent he can be with a lineup that works with his systems, his style of coaching. And I would not be surprised to see this team win a third straight. It would not surprise me at all. The run that this team had in this year's playoffs was remarkable to watch, and I would not be surprised to see it happen again, but we shall see. There's a lot of extra hockey that's been played by a lot of these players over the last couple of years. It does add up, and it is very difficult to, year after year after year, go on those long runs. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.